But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. Well, come on, man, that kid was a cakewalk.
Wrong. Canelo always has had a problem with boxers. He always struggles when he fights a boxer. Anybody knows that if you can box and take a punch, you're going to give him a hard time. Bud is not one of these guys that's going to quit.
Bud Crawford soundly defeating Canelo Alvarez. We thought that maybe he could have won by even a further margin on the scorecards. He gets it done unanimously. Teddy, can you put into words what we just saw from Terence Crawford?
Well, the only thing I wonder is if Crawford was born and made in a laboratory.
Floyd Mayweather wasted no time clowning Canelo Alvarez after his defeat against Terence Crawford. Floyd claimed that Canelo is no longer the same dangerous fighter people once feared and argued that fans and media have overrated him for years. Mayweather explained that he always believed Crawford had the style and skill set needed to beat Canelo, which is exactly why he confidently placed a massive bet on him before the fight. That gamble ended up paying off in a major way as Floyd reportedly walked away with huge winnings after Crawford secured the victory. One popular account on X even posted what appeared to be Floyd's betting slip alongside the caption, "Looks like Floyd Mayweather cashed out big after betting $50K on Terence Crawford to defeat Canelo." Despite suffering the loss, Canelo Alvarez still carried himself with confidence and professionalism after the fight ended. He openly praised Crawford's talent, admitting that Crawford proved himself to be a great fighter who deserved the win that night. At the same time, however, Canelo made it very clear that he has absolutely no plans of walking away from boxing anytime soon. Even after such a disappointing defeat, he insisted that he still feels physically strong, mentally focused, and fully motivated for future challenges. By openly saying he would be willing to face Crawford again someday, Canelo showed that his competitive fire is still alive. His comments reflected the mindset of a proud fighter who refuses to back away from adversity, especially when both his reputation and legacy are being. Also shared his reaction following Terence Crawford's dominant performance and had nothing but praise for what he witnessed inside the ring. Garcia posted online saying, "I actually believe Crawford may be the greatest fighter of all time." Ryan explained that Crawford's performance showcased a level of skill, composure, intelligence, and mentality that very few fighters in boxing history have ever displayed. According to Garcia, what fans witnessed was more than just another championship victory because it elevated Crawford into a completely different category of greatness. Ryan admitted that performances like this are extremely rare in modern boxing and said people may not fully appreciate Crawford's greatness until years later. Veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas also broke down the fight in detail, comparing Canelo Alvarez's latest defeat to the loss whenever he faces opponents who possess superior speed, timing, movement, and ring intelligence. He pointed out that even after all these years, Canelo's weaknesses in footwork and hand speed still remain vulnerable against elite technical boxers. According to Atlas, Crawford exposed those same flaws once again despite entering the fight after a long period of inactivity. Teddy praised Crawford for arriving disciplined, hungry, and completely prepared for the challenge. He explained that Crawford's timing, movement, and adaptability completely neutralized Canelo's power just like Mayweather once did years earlier. Atlas stressed that the result once again highlighted Canelo's limitations whenever he faces highly skilled tactical fighters. At the same time, he acknowledged that Crawford's victory only adds another historic chapter to an already legendary career.
From the beginning, that if you go back, and I know it was a lot of years ago, I get it, but you have to have something to point at. If you go back to when he lost his first fight, of course Canelo I'm talking about, to Mayweather, it wasn't just that his hands were too slow, his feet were too slow. And he's in there with a guy with quick feet and quicker hands. You know what? It doesn't matter how big he is. What did Ali say? Your hands cannot hit what your eyes cannot see. That was tonight. It was great.
Let's put some context on this.
It was great.
Let's put some context on this victory first. A year out of the ring. I think it was like 13 some odd months out of the ring, okay?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. 2 weight classes. Think about that.
Yep.
He had surgery early at the beginning of the year. Surgery, on shoulder surgery, right? Not sure which one. And to come in here and to put on that type of performance against Canelo that actually is coming off a performance, right? You expected Canelo to be sharp. He was sharp. However, what Crawford did was he took the air out of the ball.
Yep.
He used this. That's what boxing's about, people. It's about this. Strategy. That's what he had. He used his feet. He understood Canelo every single movement. That's why Canelo couldn't land any shots on him. He knew it was coming. He knew that the looping right hand was going to come from the southpaw position. So what did he do? Hold the phone. He knew that the hook to the body was going to come. What did he do? Block, and he shot up with counters.
One of his great assets that we don't hear about enough. One of those things that are not so easily as immeasurable on paper, but it's eyes, vision.
Focus.
We know the physical ones we talk about and we understand so easily. Speed, power, quickness, legs, all that stuff. But eyes, just radar. This guy's got infrared.
Sports journalist Ariel Helwani quickly jumped onto social media after the final bell to report the official result of the fight, confirming what many viewers already believed they had witnessed. Helwani posted, "Official. Terence Crawford defeats Canelo Alvarez via unanimous decision. 116 to 112, 115 to 113, 115 to 113. The scorecard showed that the judges consistently favored Crawford throughout the fight, even if several rounds were still competitive. While the numbers themselves appeared relatively close, the overall result reflected Crawford's control, discipline, and command over the action across the majority of the fight." Helwani's post spread rapidly online as boxing fans reacted to the reality that Crawford had just defeated one of the biggest names of this era. The official decision reinforced the idea that this wasn't simply a close upset victory, but rather a highly intelligent and calculated performance from Crawford that secured his place among boxing's all-time elite fighters. Teofimo Lopez also reacted to the fight and openly praised Crawford's achievement with admiration. Lopez explained that the matchup featured two of the best fighters in the entire world and, in his opinion, the better man clearly won that night. He went even further by saying Crawford now deserves to be placed among the top 10 greatest fighters in boxing history. According to Lopez, Crawford's composure, execution, confidence, and overall ring IQ separated him from everyone else in the sport. Hearing such praise from an active world champion only further highlighted how significant and respected Crawford's victory truly was throughout the boxing community.
In terms of his prime, how can you gauge it?
Doesn't matter. We saw a great fight tonight, did we not? That's all that matters. Two guys risked it, and the better man won tonight. That was Crawford.
Terence got it right. Is there no need for a rematch, or do you want to see running back? Because it was pretty good, like you said.
No, it was pretty, it was really good, actually. Yeah. So it's up to the jam. He's a jam. He can do whatever he wants.
What do you think happens with Canelo next after this?
What happens to Canelo after this? It don't matter. He's made a big statement for not only Mexico or the pride of Mexico, but for all Latinos right there. So he's done a great job for himself, man. Nevertheless, Crawford is on his way, continuing to create greatness.
Mentally.
What's up?
You called it for Crawford earlier. What did you see to make you call it like that?
I know boxing. I just know stylistically. I've been in the gym with. I've shared the ring with Canelo, and then I see that. So
they were saying that if he beats Canelo, it could put him as even the greatest of all time. What does that put him in the all-time list, man?
At least top 10.
At least
top 10 or top 15, easily. There's guys that we may not know of or heard of, like Henry Armstrong. Simultaneously, he was 3 divisions carrying all 3 weight divisions at the same time.
Which performance was better? I don't like to compare them, but Crawford or Mayweather's over Canelo. Like it's just different.
It's just different styles, different looks.
During the post-fight press conference, Canelo Alvarez was asked one of the most interesting questions of the night regarding his experiences sharing the ring with both Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. His answer immediately caught fans by surprise because of how openly he praised Crawford in comparison. Canelo admitted that Crawford impressed him more, especially during the championship rounds where elite fighters are expected to separate themselves under pressure. He specifically highlighted Crawford's control, sharpness, adjustments, and composure during the later stages of the fight. Then Canelo made headlines by boldly stating, "I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather." That statement instantly sparked massive debate online because many fans still consider Mayweather one of the greatest defensive fighters in boxing history. Nevertheless, Canelo's comments showed just how highly he viewed Crawford's performance and skill level after personally experiencing both fighters inside the ring.
In the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Following the loss, discussions about Canelo Alvarez's future immediately began growing throughout the boxing world. Some analysts felt that his reactions and body language hinted at the possibility that retirement could eventually be entering his thoughts, especially after Crawford's victory shifted the spotlight firmly toward a new king in boxing. Many people describe the fight as a complete schooling where Crawford used ring intelligence, movement, adaptability, and discipline to control the action while taking Canelo's belt in convincing fashion. The victory is already being described by many fans and analysts as a historic moment that cemented Crawford's place among the greatest fighters of this generation. For Canelo, however, the defeat raised uncomfortable questions about whether his era of dominance at the top of boxing may finally be reaching its end. At the same time, Crawford's performance further strengthened the belief that he has now become the true face of modern boxing.
Was going to create history. I told you guys this before he fought Sean Porter. I said that Terence "Bud" Crawford can beat first ballot Hall of Famer and superstar and legend Canelo Alvarez. I've been saying this for years, that Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. And tonight, he did just that. He did just that. Not only did he beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, but he arguably retired Canelo Alvarez, who after the fight, Canelo Alvarez stated that he's done everything that he needed to do in the sport of boxing. When asked do he want a rematch with Terence "Bud" Crawford, Canelo Alvarez said, "It's no need." He gave no indications of a rematch. And Canelo Alvarez stated that he's a Hall of Famer, he's a winner, just being there made him a winner, right? And he stated that he's done everything he needed to do in the sport of boxing. That's what he said. Canelo Alvarez got schooled once again. I told you guys, styles make fights. This style, this particular style of boxers and counterpunchers and movers has historically given Canelo Alvarez problems. And as I told you guys, right? Terence Crawford can fight any which way he chooses to fight. He's just that much more versatile. And everybody didn't believe me. They said I was tripping. Canelo was too big. He gonna knock out Terence Crawford, right? He too big, too strong. Terence Crawford get hit. Terence Crawford don't box, don't move. And I told you guys, when Terence Crawford wants to move and wants to box, right, he can. And he would, right? And guess what? Terence Crawford, I told you guys, when he fought the likes of Victor Postol, right? Y'all said that, oh, he don't move that much. I said, did you look at his fight with Victor Postol? Did you look at his fight with Jose Benavidez? Yeah, well, those guys ain't Canelo Alvarez. And I told you guys, it doesn't matter if they're Canelo Alvarez. It's about Terence Crawford's abilities to be able to maneuver around and box in every which manner he so chooses. If he wants to incorporate that style that he boxes and moves, he could. And what did he do tonight? I said Terence Crawford could fight at every level. Didn't I tell you guys that? I said Terence Crawford can fight in mid-range. He could fight on the outside. He could fight on the inside. Canelo Alvarez cannot. Y'all asked me, why aren't you talking about what Canelo Alvarez could do great? And I told you, because we know what Canelo Alvarez is going to do. He's going to fight. He's consistent in who he is and how he fights. Period. I told you guys that.
Boxing legend Andre Ward was also quick to put Crawford's performance into proper perspective after witnessing what unfolded inside the ring. Ward described the victory as historic and labeled the matchup a generational fight that boxing fans will remember for decades to come. He explained that moments like these define careers and separate ordinary champions from all-time legends. Ward was especially impressed by Crawford's discipline, composure, and ability to completely break Canelo down without losing focus at any stage of the fight. As someone who has always valued ring IQ and mental sharpness, Ward viewed Crawford's performance as the perfect example of elite-level boxing mastery. By calling the victory a GOAT moment, Andre Ward essentially elevated Crawford into conversations involving the greatest fighters the sport has ever seen. His reaction emphasized just how important and historic this moment truly felt for boxing fans worldwide.
Seeing Terence Crawford create greatness and beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, what was your thoughts on that performance from Terence?
Terence Crawford is a great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, and he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turki Al-Sheikh for putting it together. Just a great, great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people call me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years and still being successful, not having to do that. His condition seemed impeccable, and his strength was there, the power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So what more can I say?
What would you like to see him do next? Do you think there's another fight after this?
I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge. We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked. What else are we doing?
Rising star Keyshawn Davis, who has openly looked up to Terence Crawford as both a mentor and role model throughout his career, reacted with pride and excitement after the fight. Keyshawn referred to Crawford as one of the true GOATs of boxing, a title young fighters rarely hand out unless they genuinely believe the performance deserves that level of praise. Davis explained that what impressed him most was the way Crawford executed his game plan with complete precision from start to finish. According to Keyshawn, Crawford never allowed Canelo to settle into any rhythm or establish consistent momentum throughout the fight. For Davis, this victory represented far more than just another title win because it proved that greatness in boxing comes from intelligence, preparation, skill, and dedication rather than just physical strength alone. His reaction reflected how deeply Crawford's performance resonated with the next generation of fighters hoping to someday follow the same path toward greatness.
What's up, bro? Yes, sir.
What do you think made the difference?
The speed, really.
Yeah.
I think it was the main factor. Canelo couldn't really keep up with him. He was too fast. His feet, footwork was too good.
Do you think the scores was right on, or do you think maybe it was a little more towards Bud?
What was the scorecards?
115, 113, 116, 112.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah?
I feel like Bud damn near basically won every round, so
yeah.
But yeah, that's about right. You can say that.
Now, with this accomplishment, Keyshawn, is he on the Mount Rushmore of
Hell
boxers?
Yeah. Yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah?
3-time undisputed. He just beat Canelo.
Yeah.
The face of boxing. So now you can say Bud is the face of boxing.
Greatest of all time, or?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it can never be one great, but he definitely one of the greatest of all time, for sure.
Former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis also offered a brutally honest assessment of the fight while discussing the final scorecards. Lewis questioned how any judge could have possibly given 5 rounds to Canelo Alvarez because in his eyes Crawford was clearly the more effective fighter throughout the majority of the contest. He pointed out that Canelo has always struggled against opponents who possess quick movement and strong footwork, and Crawford's agility exposed those weaknesses once again. Although Lewis admitted he expected the fight to feature more dramatic exchanges and explosive moments, he still appreciated the technical brilliance Crawford displayed from round to round. His comments highlighted both the flaws in Canelo's style and the importance of Crawford's adaptability, timing, and movement, which completely shut down Canelo's offense for long stretches of the fight.
Let me tell you, great fight. I was hoping that there was more action coming from Canelo. You know, I'm used to Canelo fighting that way all the time. He tried his best. He always has trouble against movers. I was really expecting them to be more punches, more movement by Canelo. What can you say?
This reminds me of the point that Jaya Patai made yesterday, and you picked up on it. He said he's coming in with all his belts, Terence looks like he's still hungry, and Canelo looks like he's whining and dining in his success. Do you think that might be the difference tonight?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it was a little bit of difference. You know, the cat has got really fat, so he tried his best. I've seen Canelo box about many times, and I thought that this time he just boxed like he always boxes. And then I felt he couldn't really do nothing against Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford was too quick, too elusive. You know, anybody would find trouble with him, but Canelo couldn't find him.
The scorecards were 2 red, 115, 113. Were they right with the cards?
You know, it was for Canelo to win a round. I say he won about 3 rounds in that fight. I was actually amazed at the way how Terence Crawford moved and, you know, never got hit and threw combinations, because that's what you're supposed to do, throw combinations. So he threw combinations. He wasn't trying to knock out Canelo, but he definitely was throwing a lot of punches, a lot of combinations.
Roy Jones Jr., widely considered one of the most naturally gifted fighters in boxing history, was also stunned by Crawford's incredible performance. Jones described the victory as a beautiful display of boxing intelligence, patience, strategy, and technical excellence. He pointed out that Canelo has historically struggled whenever he faces fighters who rely heavily on movement, speed, and timing, and Crawford once again exposed those same vulnerabilities on the biggest stage possible. According to Roy Jones Jr., this was far more than just another victory because Crawford completely dismantled Canelo's usual game plan and left him searching for answers throughout the night. Jones believed Crawford controlled the fight mentally as much as physically, forcing Canelo into uncomfortable positions and taking away many of his strengths. His praise added even more credibility to the growing belief that Crawford's performance was not only dominant but one of the most technically brilliant victories seen in recent boxing history.
It's a beautiful performance, exactly what I expected. All I want to see was could he take the punch. If he could take the punch, we knew what was going to happen tonight.
Did you expect him to trade with Canelo like that on the inside?
Yes, we spoke on the airplane going to Dubai.
Yeah.
The only thing I told him was that you could not give Canelo the center of the ring. And earlier you gave it to him, but then you started outboxing him and outsmarting him with it, and he started taking it back at the right time. So he studied his film very well. He knew when to fight, when to move left, and when to move right. Very smart fight. He completely frustrated Canelo.
Did you score it, Roy?
Huh?
Did you score it?
No, I didn't score it. But I think probably something like 8-4.
8-4?
Yep.
What do you think should happen next, Roy?
I have no clue.
Crawford put himself amongst the all-time greats like yourself with that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
5-weight world champion,
Yes.
3-weight undisputed champion.
Yes.
Where are you putting him in the all-time list?
Hard to beat that.
That's all for today's video. Make sure you stay tuned for more updates, fight reactions, boxing drama, and breakdowns coming soon in the next one.